European Research funded project is a 4-year project working with religious minorities in East Central Europe, primarily Hungary, Romania and the Republic of Moldova. The empirical work is both archival and ethnographic. So the key aspect of the project really is going back to the archive, trying to understand the material presence there of religious minority groups, and then to conduct ethnographic work amongst the communities to try and understand the significance of their materiality during communism through a re-encounter that the project will foster. At the same time, the project is designed to really question the legitimacy, if you like, of the state archives to hold objects of sacred patrimony, cultural patrimony of religious groups, and begin a wider societal conversation about the meaning of the enclosure of aspects of religious culture behind the closed doors of archives. The networks and the communities that I've been working with over the last 8 to 10 years developed under kind of extreme forms of repression and persecution. What this entailed, what this resulted in rather, was a decentering of religion away from established centres, so away from church buildings, away from church hierarchies, away from established pilgrimage sites, to a much more diffuse way of disseminating, a much more diffuse way of building connections, a much more diffuse way of generating economic resources. So for example, I've done quite a bit of work in the Republic of Moldova amongst a group called Inokentists. They're an Orthodox splinter movement. But they became famous for their underground chapels. So they literally dug underground places of worship and also cells in which to hide from the KGB or the NKVD at the time. It actually is incredibly significant in terms of understanding the shift in cosmological worldview, because when you move from above ground to underground, when you move away from a public into the private sphere, away from the public into the domestic sphere, the means of producing sanctity, the means of producing holiness or sainthood are changed dramatically. So all the rules go out of the window. But when communities come under pressure and find that they are being excluded from acceptability, or excluded from the public sphere, they create for themselves a new means to validate, to authenticate visual products, new means in which to finance the production of those, to finance the printing of texts and so on. So I think we have to take a holistic view. Communism was very different in each of the different societies across East Central Europe, but you know, that goes for Hungary, where perhaps the state security was not quite so engaged with eliminating religion from public life, to Romania, where there was a very close intertwining between the national idea and orthodoxy as a state religion. But I think what, in general, what the communist context produced was this set of resources that were very flexible, intuitive, and creative. In religious studies, we have a whole range of questions that are important to deal with around the insider-outsider debate, issues of trust, the uses that research is put to, and how to deal ethically with communities that may or may not be on the right side of public opinion or state institutions and lawmakers. So these are very particular things, I think, that they're not different from general anthropological work, but they bring into sharp relief issues that for some anthropological work is not as acute.